Hello everyone, Jackie here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today in this video I will be discussing 5 crazy Game of Thrones fan theories that I have heard and which I do not believe. Now, for this video I have picked 5 theories that I have heard from multiple sources, so while I wouldn't say they're necessarily widely believed, there are factions that support these theories and honestly believe in them, but to me, they just sound absurd. Now, no hate if you actually believe these theories, and if after this video you still believe in it and you want to argue with me in the comments and tell me why this theory actually is true and why I'm wrong, go ahead. I am just saying that in my personal opinion, I don't think these theories make sense, and I don't think they serve to advance the story in any way. But if you still believe in them, then go ahead and try to change my mind. I'm totally open for it, and I will see you in the comment section. With that being said, I'm going to get right to it, and number 5 on this list is the theory that Gendry is secretly the illegitimate son of Robert and Cersei. Now, we all know that Gendry is one of Robert's bastards. However, people who believe this theory think that Gendry's biological mother is actually Cersei, Robert's former wife. Now, the reason they believe this is because Gendry mentions that his mother was a blonde-haired woman, and she was a tavern wench. Now, Cersei was blonde-haired, and in the books it is said that she used to dress up like a tavern wench to have secret rendezvous with Jaime without being caught. Now, people who believe in this theory say that Cersei gave birth to Robert's child, Gendry, and then gave him away because she didn't want to raise Robert's child and wanted one of her incest babies with Jaime to get the throne. Also, in Season 1 of the television series, Cersei tells Catelyn that she gave birth to a child with Robert, a son that she referred to as a black-haired beauty, but he died and she never visited his crypt. Now, proponents of this theory argue that that baby actually didn't die, it was Gendry, and the reason that Cersei doesn't visit his crypt is because that's not actually her baby, but a peasant baby that she swapped out and said died. Now, my first problem with this theory is that that scene between Cersei and Catelyn does not exist in the book series. In the books, Cersei got pregnant by Robert once, but aborted the child because she didn't want to carry Robert's offspring. So, how in the books could she have secretly given birth to this child if she was never pregnant with Robert's baby? Like, there was no known pregnancy other than the 3 she had with Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen. So how would this have happened? And I don't think they would change something like this, as major as this, in the TV show if it doesn't happen in the books. Like, they wouldn't change Gendry's parents in the show if it's not going to happen in the books, because that's a major change, and it changes the whole succession to the Iron Throne, and it would just cause so many problems, so why would they do it in the TV show if it wasn't going to happen in the books as well? Also, when you think about this logically, why would Cersei go on with the pregnancy for 9 months if she had no intentions of keeping the baby? If she didn't want to have Robert's child and raise Robert's child, then she would have just gotten an abortion like she did in the books. She wouldn't go on with the pregnancy for 9 months, grow this child inside of her and feel it move and grow attached to it and then give it away. I mean, say what you want about Cersei, but the one thing about her that I really admire is her devotion to her children, so I don't think it would make sense for Cersei to give birth to this child, to carry him, and then give him away. I feel like she would actually love this child regardless of who his father was if she went as far as to give birth to him. Also, okay, let's just ignore that and say, this is right, Cersei gave birth to Gendry, then gave him away, faked his death. Well, after she gives him away, why would she dress up like a tavern wench to go visit him if she didn't want this baby? Why would she go and visit him for years and then one day decide, okay, I'm going to fake my death now? It just really doesn't make sense. If she doesn't want the child, then why would she go and visit him and let him know that she's his mom? It just doesn't make sense logically. Also, I think you have to consider the Maggie the Frog prophecy, which told Cersei she would have 3 children. Now, the reason I think her aborted child in the books and her stillborn son in the show don't count in this prophecy is because neither of them lived past birth. So they don't really count as being a child if she never really raises them or anything like that. And I don't think her current pregnancy on the show counts in this prophecy either, because I don't think that child is going to live to be born. So, the prophecy says that she will only have 3 children that actually survive, which are Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen, so where would Gendry factor into this if he was really her son? And I think the reason that Gendry mentions that his mother is blonde is because it showed Jon Arryn and Ned that if Robert has a child with a blonde-haired woman like Cersei, it should still produce a black-haired child. I think after Ned found that out, that's why he realized those kids can't be legitimate because they should not have inherited the blonde hair. Gendry didn't inherit his mother's blonde hair. The gold always yields before the coal. That was the significance of that. And finally, I just don't know what purpose this theory would serve in the story. If Gendry was actually the legitimate child of Robert and Cersei, that would mean he has a claim to the Iron Throne. But even if he was legitimate, I don't see Gendry wanting the throne or trying to take that from Jon and or Daenerys, so I don't know what purpose this would serve in the overall story. Now let's move on to number 4 on this list, which is the theory that Tyrion Lannister is actually a secret Targaryen. Now, in the book series, it is established that Aerys Targaryen, the Mad King, had an interest in Tywin Lannister's wife, Joanna, and this theory says that the Mad King raped Joanna, and he is the true father of Tyrion, not Tywin, and this is why Tywin hates Tyrion so much. However, I feel like Tywin already had a reason to dislike Tyrion. He hated Tyrion because Tyrion was 1, a dwarf, and 2, his beloved wife died giving birth to Tyrion. So I feel like this Tyrion as a Targaryen aspect isn't necessary. Also, we just had this Jon as a Targaryen reveal, which hasn't even come to fruition yet, so having another secret Targaryen reveal at this point in the story I think is very unlikely since we're so late in the game, and we just don't need another secret Targaryen. I mean, it would be really cool if Jon, Daenerys, and Tyrion were all riding into battle on dragons. You know, the dragon has 3 heads, but I just don't think it's necessary at this point, and if this was revealed, it would just feel like a very last-minute, out-of-nowhere add-on. And again, my question is, what purpose would this serve in the overall story? I think that Tyrion's role in the endgame is to be the last surviving member of House Lannister. I think he will be the Lord of Casterly Rock, which will be ironic because Tywin always said he would never dishonor the family by naming Tyrion his heir, and in the end, Tyrion's going to be the only member of the family left, and the survival of the Lannisters is going to depend on Tyrion. I think that is his endgame, and I don't understand what him being a Targaryen would do for his character at this point. Now we will move on to number 3 on this list, which is the theory that Ned Stark is actually still alive. This theory states that a faceless man switched places with Ned Stark before his execution was actually executed in Ned's place, while Ned was able to escape. We do know that faceless men can somehow take the faces of people who are still alive because Jaqen took Arya's face in that scene where she was blinded. My first problem with this theory is that no one but Joffrey knew that Ned was actually going to be executed ahead of time. Everyone honestly believed that he was going to get sent to the Night's Watch. They all thought that was a smarter political move, but then Joffrey called for his head and there was nothing anyone could do. So, in order for a faceless man to have switched places with Ned, they would have had to know that he was going to be executed, which no one did know. Also, wouldn't the person who was setting up Ned Stark's severed head on a spike have noticed, hey, this face is a mask? Who is this person? I just think it's unrealistic that if this was really a faceless man's head, no one would have noticed in the aftermath while cleaning up after the execution. My next problem with this theory is, if Ned Stark was still alive, what has he been doing? Wouldn't he have gone to his family and tried to help them and tell them, hey, I'm not actually dead? Where has he gone if he's still alive? Why hasn't he gone? Why didn't he go to his wife and Robb, or to one of his kids, or go to Jon, or anyone? Where is he if he is still alive? And why would a faceless man agree to this job in the first place? Faceless men are assassins. They are hired to kill people, not to get themselves killed. So who would knowingly agree to be executed in someone else's place? It doesn't make any sense. And finally, from a storytelling perspective, I feel like if this twist was going to happen, it would have been revealed a long time ago. Because what could Ned Stark being alive do for the story at this point when we're in the last season? Like, when would that reveal come? I just think if this was going to happen, it would have happened a long time ago. Now on to number 2, which is another theory having to do with the faceless men, and this is the theory that Jaqen H'ghar is actually Rhaegar Targaryen. People say that Jaqen could be Rhaegar because of the silver streak in his hair and his relationship with Arya, who is said to closely resemble Rhaegar's beloved Lyanna. They also say that since Rhaegar Targaryen had rubies on his breastplate at the Battle of the Trident, this may have actually been used for glamoring so that it wasn't actually Rhaegar who was killed, but someone else disguised as him. My question is, though, if this was really glamoring magic and not actually Rhaegar, wouldn't people have realized that it was not him when all of the rubies fell off his breastplate and into the trident and the illusion was shattered? Wouldn't they have then gone out and looked for the real Rhaegar, knowing he was still out there and alive? Also, if Rhaegar was still alive, why would he go to Braavos to become an assassin? Wouldn't he try to retake his family's throne, or go to Lyanna, who was still alive after the Trident, or go find Jon? Why would he decide to go across the sea and become an assassin? I just don't really understand what motive he would have to do that. Also, like I've said with basically every other theory I've mentioned so far, how would this further the story? If Rhaegar Targaryen showed up and was actually alive, then he would be the rightful heir to the throne, not Jon or Daenerys. And from a storytelling standpoint, how would that be a satisfying ending if this guy, who we barely know and some of us don't even like that much, frankly, just showed up and took the throne after all of Jon and Dany's hard work? From a storytelling perspective, this doesn't advance the plot in any way, and in fact would probably frustrate a lot of people. And now, the #1 craziest Game of Thrones theory I have ever heard is that Varys is a merman. Yes, you heard me right. There are actually people out there who believe that Varys is secretly a merman, and the reason they think this is because in Book 1, A Game of Thrones, Arya sees Varys and Ilario emerge from something which is called a well by George R.R. Martin in the text, and then disappear down in the sewage system. So people believe that Varys and Ilario are secretly mermen who can therefore use these underground tunnels to swim around, and that's why Varys is always popping up in places so quickly. Believers in this theory also say that Varys is lying about being a eunuch and that under his robes is actually his merman tail, and that the reason Varys supports a Targaryen restoration is because he wants to use the dragons to melt the ice so the sea levels will rise and the mer people can take over the world. Again, what purpose would this theory have in the overall story? And I don't think that Varys is lying about being a eunuch because we've seen what he heard in the flames referenced so many times, so that has to be a true fact, since other people know about it. Also, Conleth Hill, who plays Varys on the TV series, has said in interviews that he doesn't know where this theory came from and that has no basis in the text or on the show, so I think we can safely say that Varys is in fact not a merman. Okay guys, that is it for this video. If you still believe that one of these theories is true and think I am wrong, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Are there any other crazy theories you've heard that you don't believe that I didn't mention here? Leave that in the comments as well. Also, please like this video if you enjoyed and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!